Hey, thank you so much for joining the conversation. So glad to be back with another one. And I know some of you have thought that post was a little bit random on YouTube, and I agree. I had done a reality check post on Facebook just talking about the reality versus oftentimes what we share, and which kind of got into this talking about actual boundaries and walking through the hard part of boundaries and relationships. And for those that are excommunicated from maybe our church or rejected from family, whatever the situation might be. And these are the things that I'm very passionate about, is boundaries and relationships. And I thought I could do some girl talks and so forth in the future maybe. So if you have questions, feel free. But this is my second one, and I will be just continuing the conversation. And again, I have a post over on Facebook if you're watching on YouTube that lays out these things in writing, so that some people, I know I like the writing part of it myself as well. And so, but at the same time, when I see this stuff, it's so easy to, I just feel like there needs to be words to it. So here we are. And so continuing with the conversation about boundaries in relationships, and we're more kind of specifically talking about excommunication, being shunned from the Amish is kind of what my background is, although applies to a lot of different situations and scenarios. First off is stop being passive. I think don't be aggressive. Head right into the heart stuff with a smile and your head held high, okay? Even if you make mistakes, your body was trying to take care of you. You were trying to stay alive. You were trying to do what you knew what was best or what you thought was best. Give yourself a lot of grace. Be the big person in the relationship. A lot of these people that have reject us, shun us, whatever the situation might be the big person. Be the responsible person. Be the one that is the big person here. And getting into a little more specific boundaries again is if people say that they want you to come, I have my notes here, and this is talking about specific, and it could in a lot of situations. They want you to come, but they have you sit, say, at a different table to eat. This is contradictory to each other. We want you to come, but we don't want you, is what their behavior is saying. And so this needs to be addressed. I simply tell them, hey, you say you want me to come for this meal, you invite me, but by asking me to sit at a different table, going with your behavior language, you're saying you don't want me there. This feels confusing. If you ask me to sit at a different table, I will not come for this meal time at your house. And give them a chance to respond. Oftentimes this is a place where they're like, well, we know what we talk, all the things that they go to. And that's okay. That is being childish. That is a childish temper tantrum, if I can't say the words. That is, and so give them a chance to respond and even say, maybe I understand, because oftentimes maybe they are in a hard position. I know I've done this, and they're like, oh, we're supposed to do this and whatever. I understand. And I just, then I move on. Because this protects me from being treated like a dog who doesn't eat at the table with humans. Dogs and humans, they don't generally go hand in hand, right? But having you sit at a different table, you're worth more than a dog. You're worth stooping that low and sitting at a different table separately, by yourself especially, will only diminish your self-worth. I've done this before I kind of knew what I was trying to navigate this. And I would sit at a different table when they asked me to, and I went home drained. I wanted to leave. I didn't care what happened the rest of the evening. Like the effects on your brain, and if you say, oh, it doesn't affect me, it does on your nervous system level. You may not admit it, you may not be that self-aware, but it does affect you. You're worth more than that. It's just, you're communicating with your brain that I'm not worth more than that if that's what you do. And people will typically this brings 1 or 2 or 3 different results. People change and are okay eating at the same as those excommunicated. All of a sudden that changes because they really want you there, and they realize that you're not going to come if they have you sit at a different table. They change. That is the hope, right? And that has happened for me. There have been people that have done that. I tell them it won't come, and it took over a year for me to not go for a mealtime, and then all of a sudden, they decided to change that a little bit. They compromise and decide to maybe eat cafeteria style. This is fine. I don't have a problem with this because they're willing to compromise, not eating family style so you can be there. But the main thing here that you want to notice is we're all eating the same way. You're not being treated differently. They're all compromising, but we're all eating equally, and that's the point. Or number 3, they quit inviting us because not wanting it. They don't like if you say, I'm not coming. They don't like that. That feels like a sense of rejection too. And then they just quit inviting because they know you're not going to come anyways, which is actually healthier than going and eating separately. It's healthier than, it's a sense of communication, and it's more healthy than stooping that low and diminishing your self-esteem. And it is really, it's easier that way. It's more healthier. You move on better. If they don't invite me, that's what happened for a while with this situation that I didn't go for a long time, and they quit inviting me. And it was easier that way. Yeah, it stung, but it was easier that way than, it was just finally I got to the point of like, I accepted it. Maybe they're just not going to ever invite me again. And healing could happen because there's a consistency of they're going to treat me well, or I'm not coming. Or no, they're going to treat me well, or the relationship is going to go to nothing. And they didn't like that. They didn't want that. And it actually brought out them changing, which is beautiful. And that itself is a challenge in a sense because I had so much peace not going, that having them invite me again is like, oh, I had so much peace. Do I want to go again? But I also appreciate, because I know that's what God ultimately wants, is redemption and connection. And so, yes, I have gone to that place again, and there's compromises. We eat cafeteria. So it all works out. If they don't invite you, it only shows further in their behavior that them staying comfortable is more important than the relationship with us. If they just quit inviting you, that tells you even further that our relationship isn't worth that much. Them staying comfortable is more, has more value to them than you do. It stings, but it brings so much peace. It allows us to move on. If people are inconsistent in what they choose, and I don't know what to expect going for mealtime, going to the house invited, I call and ask the people, and I'm just upfront. Now, I know people have told me, like, you have a lot of guts doing this. Maybe I do. I don't know. At this point, it's easier for me, and it becomes easier because I'm protecting my emotions. I'm protecting my brain. I'm protecting my mental health to be like, that way I know what to expect. And making these boundaries have helped me, my self-esteem, it built my confidence in myself, and helped me take control of my own health and well-being. This had a big part to do with how I got healthy, even physically. And so it's brought a lot of respect and love and positive change from others, because it's in these boundaries that allow and urge people to change. These boundaries are where some of what I say, but God stuff came through. It's like, oh, God is really working. I thought they didn't want me anymore. But with time, they realized they had to choose. Do they want a relationship with me that's healthy, or do they not want me? We're not going to have an unhealthy relationship. And so it kind of forces people to choose one way or the other. And as I said, this has brought so much respect and love from others, because I realized that trust on me on their part was so far gone, because I didn't know what to expect they're going to treat me. But the trust and respect for me actually grew, because they were like, oh, like subconsciously they realized that they're gonna have to treat me equally, and I'm just not a floor mat. And it's a good example for others to know their self-worth and know that they're valued and you're worth being treated equally. And so I hope this is encouraging. I have several more videos or posts. This will be all in a post on Facebook if you're on YouTube. And I will be continuing this conversation. I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. I love the feedback I've gotten. I think some of you, I know the journey. And it's been really, really hard. And talking about the journey, I just do want to say that I do have a whole book that just got released for those of you that don't know. If you order it through my website at irmamaz.com, you will get a signed copy, and my whole story is in the book. I wrote some of the boundaries and all of that, and what I went through is in that too. So just that wanted to throw that out. But I look forward to the next conversation. I will see you again very, very soon.